So I got a check engine light on the Subaru this morning, and the only error that I'm getting with the check engine light is this coolant temperature. Let's check it out. We're underneath the 2012 Subaru Outback 3.6R, looking at the thermostat housing. Today we're going to change the thermostat. We think it's the original one, and we're actually getting an error code that tells us the car's running too cool. So our thermostat's probably stuck in the open position. That's what we're hoping we'll find. While we're at it, we'll change top and bottom hoses on the radiator because we think they've never been changed. First thing we're going to do is drain our cooling system, and we're on the passenger side back of the radiator. We're going to actually loosen this little drain plug and let that drain into a little bucket. We'll let this drain for a while, and then we're gonna remove the bottom hose, and there's gonna be fluid in that too, so we'll move the bucket over to catch that. All right, so it's just dripping now, so I'm gonna plug it back up. We've drained enough to keep it out of my way when I'm on the other side. Still want to pinch your finger under this. All right, we got that. Hopefully now we can pull this hose off. Well, we've got it loose. I don't know if I can pull it off. All right, we're gonna loosen this thermostat. I've got a 10mm socket on my small 3/8 inch drive. It's tight getting back to this top one, so we'll try and give you some type of view of that. All right, there we go. So we've cracked it loose. Hopefully I'm going to be able to loosen that by hand now, because it's hard to get the ratchet to it now. Get this one loose. Yeah, these are going to be finger tight now. So we've got both bolts that are holding this in place out. I'm going to just try and wiggle it loose. And now we're leaking a little bit of fluid. That's why we have our bucket here. Alright. Just missed with a little bit of it, but let's let that drain out, and then we will pull it out of the way and remove the actual thermostat. Or the thermostat housing is off the engine blocks, twisted a little bit. Thermostat's still sticking in there. I've got to work on the other end of this hose on the bottom of the radiator, so I can kind of remove this maybe in all in one piece, and then we'll get a look at the actual thermostat sticking out of the block. Alright, so we're trying to twist this bottom radiator hose off, and it's coming loose, but I don't know if it's going to move the way I want it to. Hoping to remove this without cutting it off, but there's always that as an option if this is not going to be cooperative. Also got my little pick tool, which I'm going to try and wedge in there and see if that helps me loosen the hose. So I'm moving the whole radiator. Getting a little movement there. You can see now. Alright, there we go. We're off. Alright, so we remove moved it all in one assembly. You can see my thermostat housing here. And I've got the bottom hose off, so that's good. Actually, I might just see if I can pull it out. No, it's stuck pretty good. So I'm going to need something to get a little leverage on it. This gasket around the edge is just kind of sealed in there. So I'll be right back and we'll try again. Okay. I did it. Just need a little leverage on the screwdriver, and the rest of the coolant in the engine block came out. We'll let that drain for a minute and then we'll pop that out. So now you can see the gaping hole where our thermostat used to be. We're going to look at the new one, compare it to the old, and make sure it looks like I got the right part, and then we'll proceed on putting it back together with the new hose on the bottom. So this is our old thermostat. This is our new thermostat. It's a Subaru part. Got it from Amazon. I'll put the part number and a link in the description. I'm just going to open it up and make sure that it looks like it's a side-by-side match before we pop it in. Give it a good inspection. And then I've got the old hose, which is still connected to the housing. Got my new hose on the left. It's a Gates hose. It's made in the USA. I will put a part number and link in the description to that. Looks like it's a good match, so we're going to pop it in. I'm going to put it in the same way the other one came out, and that's with this little loose thing right at the top. Try and align that best that I can, and just kind of press it into place. That gasket's going to be the only thing that makes it seal, and then we'll put the cover over it and snug it up. Alright, so we're just going to try and get this new hose with the thermostat housing in place, and I'm going to snake it in over this other hose, maybe. I don't know if we're seeing what I want you to see over here. Move my camera a little bit. Try and push this hose onto the radiator and see if we can do it without knocking the new thermostat out of position. Yeah, it's going to be tough. So I'm going to rethink my approach here a little bit. I was going to try and do the hose and the thermostat cover in one piece, but I think I'm better off doing the thermostat housing and making sure that I don't bump the thermostat loose and end up having a leak. So we're going to try and line this up, bolt it in, and then we'll get the hose once everything else is in firm position. Finger tighten both bolts to get this housing lined up. Get the other bolt. Would help to have smaller hands because there's not a lot of room up here. See if we can wrangle this hose into position. I'm going to start on the radiator side. Okay, so I think we're pretty good. Now we just need to snug up our hose clamps and we'll be happy on the bottom. So on this front bottom radiator hose clamp, I've actually got it rolled around to where I can kind of hit it from the side and be parallel to this cross member with my screwdriver. So I'm just going to snug that up. I'm going to put the camera down because I can't get a good shot of me doing it and holding the camera steady. Okay, I'm just going to remove this top radiator hose. Alright, see if we can get in here and release it on this end. So you got my hose clamps off on both ends. Now we'll just see if we can twist this guy loose. I have to use the hose pick tool. Let me grab that. You can hear it kind of breaking loose the seal a little bit. So hopefully that'll be enough. Yep. Good on that end. Let's see if we can get this end broke loose. Might be a little tougher to get our pick tool in there, but maybe we can just twist the whole thing. Okay, got that guy off. Clean up that end, and we'll put our new hose on, some new hose clamps. This is our new top driver's side hose. It's also a Gates hose. I'll put a link in the description to this one and the part number. We're just going to pop it in place and get our hose clamps on. Okay. Got a hose clamp there and ready. And then we'll get one on over here. Alright, so we've got that hose in place. Just need to get these hose clamps put on. To get at another top hose, we had to remove the intake snorkel. So we're going to have to remove this and this. We should pull this other hose out and then we'll drop our new one in. So we're going to put new coolant in the car. We're using our spill-free funnel. There's lots of different adapters, but over here I've got the one that I need. Looks like this. Sticks down in there. This top looks like the same shape as the standard radiator cap. Goes over the top. Tightens in. Then our funnel goes on top. Be able to fill it all the way up and even a little ways into the funnel, and when we can start to run the car, and as it starts to purge air out of the system, it'll bubble up through this funnel and the level will drop. We've got 1 gallon of the Subaru Super Coolant and 1 of the Peak. Both are pre-diluted, so you don't add water. So this is the blue stuff for the newer Subarus. You'll see it when I'm pouring it in. So I'm going to start with the Subaru Coolant. You can see it's blue-green in color. We're also going to add some in this coolant reservoir. We'll just idle for a little bit, see if it comes up to temperature. I'm going to check for leaks. All looking good on this hose. Top and bottom. Go down there. Good around the thermostat housing. I don't see any water leaking out on this bottom hose. So I think we're good on no leaks. So we're all done. Just going to run a quick scan to see if we have any codes. I just took the car out for a test drive. I hope this gives you the confidence to tackle something like this on your own or get some help from a friend. Save a lot of money. And please subscribe, leave any comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.